What's up YouTube, I'm back with another video, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to drive a manual. I'm going to keep it as simple as possible. I'm going to go over all the steps and give you guys some tips that help me learn, that hopefully will help you learn and make it a little bit easier for you. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing you need to know is that there's 3 pedals in a manual car. Well, this one right here is just a footrest, and this pedal right here is the clutch. In the middle is the brake, and then the accelerator, the gas pedal. Okay, so my car's a 6-speed, and so it's in first right now. This will be second, and then the middle is neutral. Straight up is third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. And to know you're neutral, you can just move it side to side. Every car is different, but for mine, to put it in reverse, I lift that up all the way to the left and up, and it's in reverse. Make sure when you're learning to drive a manual that you're in like an empty parking lot and somewhere flat, because it can be dangerous learning on like public roads and stuff at first, especially if you're not that comfortable with it. So make sure you're kind of in the middle of nowhere. And I say flat because right now I'm not actually on a flat area. So if I were to let go of the brake right now, I would just roll back because I'm in neutral. How I went over the gears with you guys, go ahead and do that with your car and kind of get familiar with just play with it a little bit and get familiar with it, because you don't want to go out on the road and miss any shifts, because that might happen when you're first learning, especially when you're entering freeway and you're starting to pick up speed and you got to shift pretty quick for the first time, and you don't want to miss any gears. So go ahead and just get familiar with it, you know, put it in the 5th or 6th or whatever, how many gears you have, and test them all out and just see where they're at. Once you've done that, you're gonna want to go ahead all the way to the left and up to put it in first. So once you have the car in first and the clutch disengaged, which means it's pushed in, that means the clutch isn't isn't latched onto any gear right now. So a quick little important I guess tip I want to share with you guys real quick before we actually start driving it first is just how gentle you need to be with the clutch when you are starting to release it. So the bite point is going to be very small on most cars, and you're probably going to stall the car a few times trying to find it at first, and that's fine. It took me a long time to learn and to stop stalling, basically. And so just make sure you're giving the car enough gas, and if you feel like you're going to start stalling the car, if you notice the car is about to shut off, you can just push the clutch in and then try again. Find the bite point, start giving it some gas. So yeah, let's get moving now. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get moving. Car's in first. I had pushed the clutch in before I put it in first. Make sure that you every time you move the gear lever, you have the clutch pushed in all the way. You don't want to grind any gears. Pushing the clutch in allows you to move the gear lever freely without causing any damage. That's what the clutch is there for. So make sure every single time you move this, clutch is engaged. All right, so once you start taking your foot off the clutch, if you don't give it gas, the car is just gonna stall. Okay, so for your first takeoff, I'm gonna give you guys another little tip real quick. So what you could do is you could actually hold the clutch in all the way, and you could rev the RPMs up, and you could hold them at about 1,500 or 2,000 to get going at first. You don't want to hold it there for too long, because you don't want to roast the clutch. That starts heating up the clutch, and it's going to cause wear and tear. But it will only start really damaging your car if you let it overheat. So when you're first learning, if you do it a few times, a couple times, you're not really revving it too high, not really past 2,000, there's no point. You don't even go that high. You really only need it like 1,000, 1,500. And then from there, you could start releasing the clutch to the bite point, and then honestly hold the RPMs there, and that's a good way to take off for your first time. When you're learning, you could you're gonna be abusing the car when you're first learning. That's how it is when you're driving a manual. So I'm gonna hold the RPMs up, and I'm gonna start releasing the clutch very slowly. go. I'm releasing the clutch and we're moving. And boom. And then the more you start releasing the clutch and giving it gas, eventually you'll get to the point where you can just take your foot completely off the clutch. So get the RPMs up so the car doesn't shut off, and slowly start taking your foot off the gas, the clutch. I mean, hold the gas, and boom, I'm off the clutch completely and I'm moving. So make sure you're in an empty space where you can drive around. Have the clutch all the way in, give it some gas, rev it up to about 1,000, 1,500, and slowly, slowly as you can, you know, flex your fucking calf muscles and hold the clutch because it might be a little heavy. Nice and smooth. You really want to be in control of the car. The car is going to respond to whatever you do to it. If you want it to be smooth, you got to treat it smooth. You got to be smooth with it. So some gas, and then bite point, and we're rolling. Yeah, so let's get into shifting in a second. Okay, so hopefully that demonstration of showing you how to take off in first made sense. I've never really taught anything really, and I kind of suck at explaining things. So if you have any questions, you can just leave them down in the comments, and I try to respond to all my comments. So that's basically how you're gonna want to take off in first. But yeah, let's do second gear. You know, there's a lot to know about driving a manual, but it really just takes practice. Once you put everything together, it's very simple. You just gotta practice and do it a lot. What you do is clutch in, take your foot off the gas, and then you need to simultaneously find the bite. You gotta find that bite point and start giving it gas again. We're in first gear right now. I'm going to push the clutch in and take my foot off the gas, and then I'm going to pull. It sounds like I'm doing a bunch of different steps, but really this motion happens very quick, and you got to put it all together and do it once, which is what I kind of have to explain it to you before I do it, because when I do it, I kind of just do it. I'm gonna start giving it gas and then start taking my foot off the clutch once I put the insec in. So I'll show you guys real quick here, and I'm giving it gas and taking my foot off the clutch. I'm gonna try to get some foot cam angles for you guys too, but I'll go over this and show you guys as much time as I can. So I'm gonna put it in second, still on the clutch, off, slowly letting go of the clutch. So it's not really just a full release of the clutch. You want to release it until you find that bite point, and once you find that bite point, you need to start giving it gas, but you could kind of already be giving it gas, kind of. You don't want to roast the clutch, like I said. You don't want to just leave the clutch in and put your foot back on the gas. You want to start giving it gas once you get to that bite point. So here's a little takeoff, and then I'm going to take it up to 5,000 here, and then shift in a second, gas. All the other gears are the exact same thing. Try out a manual transmission. You don't even have to own it for that long. You just try it out for a year, or 6 months if you can. Honestly, it is a whole different experience than an automatic. It really is more engaging. It keeps you focused the whole time when you're driving, because you gotta shift every gear. It really just involved with the car. So if you're in the cars and you like driving, I would recommend Okay, we're gonna do another launch. Takeoff. I just revved up the RPMs and slowly released the clutch. I literally just gave it some RPM, and alright. Let's say the clutch is all the way pushed in like this, and then I'm giving it some gas. I find the bite point, right? Bite point, RPM, just 1,000, 1,500, boop, boop, boop. And then you can just slowly, as fucking slow as you can, just try to take your foot off as slow as you can, and just release it. And you'll just start moving smoothly like nothing, just as slow, like, it's that simple. And I wish, when I was learning, it would have been conveyed to me, just take off that simply, just keep giving it gas, you know? Really important to find that bite point. You know, like I said, you can rev up your RPMs, but you don't want to roast the clutch. Keep it, you know, below 2,000, and try not to do that too often. The more comfortable you get, try to challenge yourself a little bit, maybe give yourself less gas, and you know, you can start releasing the clutch a little bit quicker. And you know, instead of just having the RPMs rev up and you're taking off slowly all the time, you just, you know, you'll just go. But it's all about the balance. If you start releasing clutch, you need to make up for that release with gas. To get to that bite point, you want to start, basically, for any clutch you start releasing, you want to start giving it gas. So you want to simultaneously just move your feet. Replacing what you release from the clutch with gas, basically what I mean is, as you start releasing, like, let's say I'm in neutral right now, but let's say the bite point, it feels like it'd be right here, right? Now you want to start giving it gas, so gas, but also release the clutch. So replace whatever you let the clutch go with gas, and eventually, you know, you're gone. So let me show you guys how it looks moving. Alright, I'm in first right now, about 4,000 to 3,000, and here we go, I'm going to shift this second, so. Bite point, you get a really good feel for it. You could be as slow as you want with that clutch, and I really recommend it, because you'll find yourself stalling less and less. Because you could also just, you know, if you notice you're stalling, you can just boom, push the clutch right all the way back in. Good, just stop. Okay, so I'm actually going to show you guys a quick reverse. I mean, it's the same concept as taking off in first, but I mean, yeah, there's the same concept, there's no difference. So I'm releasing the clutch, giving it gas, and we're going backwards. First, off the clutch. I mean, it's as simple as that, really. It just takes practice. I stalled a bunch when I first got the car. I had to kind of teach myself. I went to the middle of nowhere to watch some videos, and I had to drive this car from Utah back to Los Angeles, California, without really knowing how to drive, except for the YouTube videos I watched. So that's why I'm really trying to show you guys, you know, because I feel like there's things that could have been told that would have saved me a lot. And I feel like getting those RPMs up and then taking your getting those RPMs up and then slowly, I mean, as slow as you can, I'm really trying to stress that, just release the clutch and you'll go. I mean, no one really told me that. They kind of said you gotta find that bite point, and then, you know, like, just make it way more difficult. Like, you gotta be precise and shit. At first you don't. In the long run you do, as you're driving more, because the more you start, you know, if you're revving your RPMs up all the time for, let's say, for like a year, you're really gonna start fucking your clutch up. You really want to only do that just to learn. That's just a learning thing, like, you know, I would call it. You don't really want to rely on that forever as you're learning how to drive manual. So right here, I'm pulling up to a red light, clutch all the way in, neutral, make sure you're neutral, and I'm off the gas. I'm off everything except the brake. I'm stopped. And in a manual car, you can literally just e-brake up. I don't have my feet on any pedals at all until this light changes. I'm rolling backwards because I'm on a hill. That's fine. Same concept, just gas and release clutch and replace with gas, and that's it. So not really sure what else to go over. If you have questions, definitely comment. I read all my comments. I try to respond to everybody. And if you want to have a conversation more about it, let me know in the comments. I'll give you my Instagram. We can DM. And yeah, but other than that, I hope this video helped, because I just recently learned how to drive this car about 3-4 months ago, and so I wanted to give you guys some tips that I knew helped me. And yeah, I mean, driving a manual car is a lot of fun. Once you learn, you're gonna love it. There's no way you can not like this, unless if you're in the cars, you know, it could be a lot for someone who doesn't care, that just wants to get somewhere. Why they would get an automatic. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Like I said, give me a comment if you have questions, and yeah, peace out.